In 1999, Pedro Martinez struck out 313 batters. He walked 37. His ERA was less than half the league average. The next best pitcher in his league had an ERA more than a run and a half higher than his. He wasn't pitching baseball, he was breaking it. The late 1990s were the most offensive era in baseball history. Hitters were juiced, ballparks were shrinking, the ball was flying out at record rates. McGwire and Sosa had just chased Maris. Bonds was about to chase God, and in the middle of all of it, a 5'11" pitcher from the Dominican Republic was doing something nobody in baseball history had ever done. For 2 straight seasons, Pedro Martinez wasn't just the best pitcher in baseball, he was operating in a different sport. By the end of this video, you'll understand why his 1999 and 2000 might literally never be matched again. To understand what Pedro did, you have to understand what he was up against. In 1999, the average American League team scored over 5 runs a game. Hitters slugged .439, the highest mark in over 50 years. 43 different players hit 30 or more home runs. Some of those players were definitely on steroids. Some of them probably were. And some of them, well, we'll never really know. The strike zone had shrunk. The baseballs were juicier. The ballparks were smaller. Even the average backup catcher was suddenly hitting 20 home runs. It was the worst possible time in modern history to be a pitcher. Pedro Martinez didn't get the memo. 1999, 23 wins, 4 losses, a 2.07 ERA in a league where the average was 4.86, 313 strikeouts, 37 walks. That's a strikeout to walk ratio of 8.46, the best in modern baseball history at that point. He led baseball in strikeouts per 9 innings, 13.2. Nobody else in the American League was even close. He was the unanimous Cy Young winner, and he should have been the MVP, except 2 writers refused to put him on their ballots at all because they didn't believe pitchers deserved the award. But the stats don't tell you what 1999 actually felt like. So let me tell you about July 13th. The All-Star game came to Fenway Park. Pedro got the start. The National League sent him their best, a murderer's row of the steroid era. Barry Larkin, future Hall of Famer. Larry Walker, the reigning batting champion. Sammy Sosa, who just hit 66 home runs. Mark McGwire, who just hit 70. Jeff Bagwell, future Hall of Famer. Pedro faced 6 of them. He struck out 5. In 2 innings, Pedro Martinez made the best hitters of the most offensive era in baseball look like they didn't belong in the same league as him, because they didn't. If 1999 was Pedro at his most spectacular, 2000 was Pedro at his most impossible. His ERA dropped to 1.74. The American League ERA that year, 4.92. That means Pedro's adjusted ERA plus, the stat that measures how much better a pitcher was than league average, accounting for ballpark, came in at 291. That is the highest single season ERA plus in Major League history. Among pitchers who threw more than 200 innings, nobody has ever done it better. Not Cy Young, not Walter Johnson, not Sandy Koufax, not Bob Gibson in 1968. His whip, walks plus hits per inning, was 0.74, the lowest mark in modern baseball history. Walter Johnson held the record for 77 years. Pedro broke it. He struck out 284 batters. He walked 32. Opposing hitters batted .167 against him. With runners in scoring position, they batted .133. The second best ERA in the American League that year belonged to Roger Clemens at 3.70, more than double Pedro's. Let that sink in. The second best pitcher in the league was twice as bad as Pedro. And here's the most absurd stat of them all. In Pedro's 6 losses that season, his worst games of the year, he had a 2.44 ERA. That's still better than every other pitcher's best season in the entire National League. His losses were better than everyone else's wins. Now zoom out. Pedro did this in Fenway Park, a hitter's paradise with a left field wall 310 feet away. He did this in the American League, where he had to face the designated hitter every game instead of the opposing pitcher. He did this against lineups stuffed with players who later admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs, or who tested positive, or who got named in the Mitchell report. He did this at 5'11", 170 pounds, when other pitchers his age were getting bigger and stronger by the season, and he did it across 430 innings over 2 years. In those 430 innings, he gave up 288 hits and 69 walks. He struck out 597 batters. His combined ERA was 1.90. The next best pitcher in baseball over those 2 years had an ERA over a run and a half higher. This isn't a pitcher having a great year. This is a pitcher in a different sport. Here's the thing nobody talks about. Pitching has gotten better since Pedro. Velocity is up, spin rates are tracked, analytics tell pitchers exactly where to throw every pitch. The modern game is engineered for strikeouts. And in the 25 years since Pedro's 2000 season, nobody has come close to that ERA plus of 291. Not Verlander, not Kershaw, not DeGrom, not Skubal, not Skeens. Nobody. Because Pedro wasn't just dominating his peers. He was dominating an era specifically designed to humiliate pitchers. He pitched in the worst conditions for a starting pitcher in 80 years and put up the best numbers anyone has ever seen. There have been more dominant pitchers across full careers. There have been pitchers who threw harder, pitchers who lasted longer, pitchers who won more rings. But for 2 straight seasons in the most offensive era baseball has ever seen, a 5'11" right-hander from Mahanogui was the best pitcher who has ever lived, and he might be the last one to ever do it. If you like this, hit subscribe. Next week in the season Barry Bonds turned baseball into a video game,